2 of Spree Southwest 2020 at home. I hope you're all doing really well and that you enjoyed that first day. It was a great talk from Joe and a great activity from Sam and Georgina. And today we're moving on to the second part in our 4-part series on purpose, and we're talking about plans and what God's plan is for your life. And I don't know about you, but recently a lot of our plans have changed with lockdown. A lot of holidays may have been cancelled. I am back at home. I was supposed to be in Bristol at this time of year and doing lots of activities with children and young people, but I can't do that at the moment. And we may have done some weird and wacky things that we may not have thought of before lockdown. Our plans may have changed. So, for example, I thought that the barbers weren't going to be open for a long time, so I actually decided to shave my head. So here's me before, and then this is me after I shaved my head. So you're seeing me now with 12 weeks worth of head growth. And some of the things may have been really hard to deal with. Like, I've really struggled with not seeing my friends. It's been really hard. Just being able to see someone face to face is such a treat now. But I really miss my friends. So maybe in your groups, talk about if anything weird or wacky has happened to you in lockdown, and share that. Maybe talk about one thing that's been really challenging about lockdown and something that's changed your plans that's been really hard to deal with. Just talk about that in your group now with your leaders. So, Joe is going to lead us in our talk again today about the fact that God has a good plan for your life, and then we've got Samuel and Georgina leading us in another activity after that. So, I'll see you after all that.
Hello again, it's Joe, and today we are going to have a think about the fact that God has not only chosen us, like we looked at in our previous session, but that He has good plans for us. The other day I was doing some clay with my children in my house. We're trying desperately to think of lots of activities to do, as I'm sure you are in your houses. And we were working with this clay, the stuff that you can put in the oven and it goes hard. And one of my children was shaping it and was doing some really cool shapes with it. And then they were like, it's got all these fingerprints all over it. Can't get them off. And they were trying to squash them with their fingers and trying to get rid of them. And they just weren't going anywhere. And it is virtually impossible to get your fingerprints off the clay once you have made something out of it. And it made me think of a verse that's in Ephesians. A verse that is in Ephesians 2, verse 10. And it says, God has made us what we are. And that is true, isn't it? You know, God has chosen us, but He hasn't just chosen us from, a group of random people. He has chosen us because He made us what we are. And He has good plans for us. In Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, it says, this is God speaking, I alone know the plans I have for you, plans to bring about prosperity and not disaster, plans to bring about the future you hope for. If you make something, you take your time over it, you really think about it, you don't want to lose it, do you? You don't want to break it. You want to look after it. You know, if you make something out of this lump of clay, you cook it and it looks amazing. You want to put it on a shelf for everybody to see. You want to show the world what you have created. We weren't just an accident. God made us. He planned us. He thought it through when He designed you. And He doesn't want you to just fritter away in a corner somewhere in the world. He has plans for you. When He made you, He designed the purpose for the rest of your life. Isn't that incredible? The God who created everything and everyone has a plan for you and me, and that's really exciting. If you went to a birthday party and in the corner of the room or on the front door there was this dangling there, you would think that was a little bit strange, wasn't it? Because yes, they are balloons, as you know, but they're not really how balloons are supposed to be. However, all it takes is for a balloon to be blown up. Now, if there was a load of balloons like that hanging on the front door, you'd be like, oh yeah, they're balloons. In fact, you wouldn't even think about it because that is what a balloon is supposed to be like. The good plan for this balloon is that it is blown up to its full potential and then shown to the rest of the world. Bit of a poor illustration, but it's to help us remember when we see balloons actually that God has good plans for us and He wants us to be not like this, not quite realising what He has for us, but actually like this, being the best that we can possibly be. I've got a little activity for you to do. If you've got some in your house, go and grab a balloon and blow it up. And on that balloon, I want you to maybe get a Sharpie if you've got one and write some of the things that you hope for in your life. What is it that you hope to do when you, when you grow up, or even now? What is it you hope to be or become? Some things, some hopes and dreams, and write them or draw them on your balloon. And then I'd like you to hold your balloon and talk to God about it. Ask him to show you which ones of these are of him, which ones are the good plans that he has for your life, and which ones do we need to try and forget about.
I love the fact that in Jo's passage she talks about how God has good plans for our lives. What do you think is the plan that God has for your life?
I'm not too sure. I still feel a bit young to think about that kind of stuff, but I have some hopes and dreams, things I'd like to do in the future.
Me too. Like Jo suggested, let's write them on these balloons.
Good idea. I've put better at cooking.
I've put skydiving. I'd also like to get better at the piano.
Yeah, Ashton, put that as well. Better at skateboarding.
That would be fun. I probably want to do skiing.
I wouldn't mind doing bungee jumping.
That sounds fun. What about tightrope walking?
Tightrope walking. How about fun run for charity?
That sounds good. I'd quite like to go travelling as well, and I'm really into activism.
Cool.
But if God does have a plan for my life, I need to ask him what those plans are.
Thanks very much, Jo, Sam and Georgina. That's really helpful about helping us thinking about God's plan for our lives and that he does have a good plan for us in the end. So I've got a few more questions for us now. Okay, so my first question for you is, how does it make you feel when you hear that God has a good plan for your life? Second question, if God asked you to do something that may be contradicted, maybe you've got a little plan for your life. What if God asked you to do something that contradicted that plan? That means to do something completely different to what you want to do with your life. Maybe you want to be an astronaut or something, and maybe he says, no, I don't want you to be an astronaut. I want you to work for a charity or something like that. How would that make you feel? Have a think of those questions in your group. Thank you very much, and we'll see you for the next session.